Welcome to episode 46 of Yalla
Habibi.
Habibi, Yalla
We didn't
Habibi.
even practice that.
We didn't. Let's go, my love. Which it translates. Well, it kind of translates to a few things, but let's go, my love is the one we stick with. Let's go, my friend is another one. It depends what context you use it in. And we're about to record 3 episodes off the bounce, aren't we?
We are.
And that includes 6 shorts because we do 2 shorts every week.
It actually includes 8 shorts because we haven't done the shorts for the most recent episode.
Crap, we haven't done the... Oh my god, we're going to then do 8 shorts, which we've planned most of them out, and we do them pretty quickly. Shelby's the one-take wonder. Like, you are the one-take wonder. Literally, she does it one take pretty much every time. I'm doing like 4 or 5 takes at least. Yeah.
Well, but I think that's only because... I mean, and I'm a perfectionist, but I think that you don't need to read it. Like, I think that you know, like if there's like a very brief moment where you're not entirely sure what you're saying, you're like, oh, start again. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Whereas I think I just kind of wing it to the end and hope for the best. And then usually it's okay. Whereas you're like... And I think it was the same like when we were... Side note, like when you were learning piano, you wouldn't continue... You know, if you made a mistake, you wouldn't continue the piece. You'd go back to the beginning of the piece.
Yeah.
Because you've got to get it perfect all the way through. Like, you wouldn't...
That's me.
So you wouldn't be... But then, you don't get as much practice on the second half of the piece, so you're much more likely to make mistakes on it further on. So, anyway, my advice is just... With anything, if you make mistakes, just carry on. And then try again if necessary.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I just... maybe I'll try it for the next short then.
Yeah.
I think what you do realise when you start recording a lot of content is you feel like a pause is much bigger than what it comes across on the actual recording.
Absolutely. It can be like a 1/10 of a second, but you feel like it's been a minute.
Oh, yeah. And it feels like, oh, God, we're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah. And it won't be. It'll be nothing. Like...
No, it always is. Every time I watch myself over of any recording, the pause or when I thought, oh, God, when I was looking at it and I was thinking in my head at that point, like, oh, I've messed up there. Like, I you know, maybe I muddled up my words or something. And then you watch it over and go, it was barely noticeable. It was just like, it would be seen as a very, like, standard thing to happen. But it just feels like such a big thing every time in the moment. It's like, oh, I've kind of fucked up that recording or fucked up that opening of a presentation or whatever. And it's just like, it's so little. So yeah, you are right. I think the logic of just move forward. And we're not, you know, the podcast game isn't our first experience of recording content, is it?
No. Can you elaborate?
Well, work. Well, for me, I mean, we both... I mean, you know, you've had roles. I won't define what those roles were unless you want to jump into them. But you've had a lot of roles where you've had to do a lot of presentations and
yeah, well, I mean, I've said before that I'm a teacher.
You are a teacher.
Qualified, not anymore, actually. Well, I mean, I'm still a qualified teacher, to clarify.
You are still qualified. I must say, a very sexy teacher.
Well, thank you very much.
If I was one of your... No. I know Shelby will not entertain that amusing little anecdote I was going to say. And then I've been in marketing for 10 years, so I've been recording content since like the first year, you know, all social media content. I've run multiple podcasts for different companies, webinars, customer advice, etc. So,
and we've both done like personal project things, haven't we? Like, we've both had our own YouTube channels of...
We have. We
put
both
out music or comedy.
Isn't that crazy? We both had our own YouTube channels and we didn't know each other.
Yeah, I guess so.
And maybe it's not that crazy, but
well, I mean,
in today's world,
YouTube,
but I don't know. If I compare it to like all my friends, like I don't know any of my friends who have a YouTube channel.
Actually, do you know what? Now you say it, neither do I. But I didn't really feel like it was that novel, but I guess it is.
Yeah, because we're not in like a YouTube group. Like
no, I've got 3 different YouTube channels.
Have you?
I've got a music one, a comedy one, and a cooking one.
Oh, see, I've seen your cooking and your comedy one. I don't think I've seen your music one.
My music one's the oldest, actually.
That would make sense.
I think one of my videos has got 10,000 views.
Wow. What was that about?
It was me playing Bubble Wrap by McFly on piano,
Oh, right, nice.
which is it's a nice song.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, so there we go. So we're used to video content, but still, Shelby's the one take wonder, and I'm the 5 take wonder.
No, stop.
But I got a couple of things I want us to talk about, and Shelby's going to chip in, and hopefully it's not all about me this episode.
Yeah.
Even though I'd love to make it about me.
Well, but just before we start,
yeah.
so we mentioned at the start that we're gonna say
what?
neither of us are in a particularly good mood. I must say that my mood has
sorry, I
improved
forgot.
since we started.
Yeah. Because we've put on our characters now, our podcast
A
characters.
facade.
Yeah, we're now, hey guys.
We're actually not even a couple.
Yeah. It's all just our brand of this podcast.
I don't even like it. Not even in the same room.
No, we're not in the same room. Yeah, Shelby's an AI character.
Well, that's gonna, from what I understand, be a theme of this episode.
Well, actually, I do have in my WTF segment, I do have something that is AI related and who is impersonating a human. It's quite interesting, actually.
It is very interesting.
So yeah, no, we're not in a good mood either of us, and it's not, we're just well, I don't know if you want to detail your bad mood, but my bad mood, I don't know. I'm just in a bad. I just woke up on the wrong side of bed, and we had a lovely evening last night. We had a lovely evening. We celebrated my belated birthday. We went to the Ivy, which I've never been to, which was actually quite nice.
The service was great.
Yeah, our wait was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
See, that's what you want. Unlike Tattu, which I will take
Tattoo
to the cleaners
garbage.
every opportunity I get.
Never go to Tattu. It's an Instagrammy, funny smoking piece of shit. Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah. But the Ivy was lovely. It was like the ambiance was very nice. The staff that when I got up to the toilet and stuff, like the waiters would be really, really aware of everyone and would stand to the side, and hold their hand, stand really politely and gesture for me to go through and stuff, and which I know is just decency anyway. But they were really aware of it. It felt like the service was, it was just really on it. The guy was really friendly. Our waiter. The hostess who seated us was very... Sorry, I'm playing with my Pepsi Max can. Because the hostess in Tattu was awful.
Everyone and everything in Tattu was awful.
Apart from the bar staff.
Yeah, the bar staff were nice.
Yeah. But, the hostess in the Ivy, she was really... Are you celebrating anything today? Asking, and really, have a lovely time. Hope you enjoy it. Just really friendly. And the waiter as well. Yeah, so just food was... I'll be honest, I don't think the food was sensational, but it was nice.
Yeah, it wasn't your salad was a bit rubbish.
The chips were great.
The chips are great. My curry, to be honest, my curry was very nice.
Yeah, you see, so I did try a curry because we always try each other's.
Randang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh my god, this curry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I was happy with my meal. I thought your salad, whilst it was exactly as it explained, I just thought, that isn't going to fill you up.
It was surprisingly filling.
Was it?
But yeah, no, it was...
I feel like soy sauce just didn't make sense.
Well, it said hoisin sauce.
Hoisin sauce.
But it was it was liquidy though, wasn't it? It was a very liquidy dressing. It was a warm salad, so it wasn't even hot, but it was...
It was what? It had watermelon and hoisin sauce.
Yeah, and broccolini.
Broccolini's great, but if it just had some, cucumbers, some tomatoes on there, some nuts, take out the hoisin sauce out, it would have been all right. But
yeah, I think maybe some quinoa or it needed some carbs.
Yeah, it needs some carbs. It was a lot. Yeah, I like fruit. I've really started to get into my fruit on my salad, but you've got to be careful then with the sauces on there. You can't just have ketchup on fruit. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But you can have some salad dressings that'll be okay if they touch the fruit. It's okay. It kind of works.
Yeah, you want a lemon.
Yeah, a lemon.
Dressing.
Yeah, a lemon will work. A lot of them, but I just don't think a hoisin sauce works. I think it's just too strong and too fishy.
Fishy.
It gave me a fishy taste.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't taste fishy at all.
I felt like it gave me a fishy vibes.
Well, I didn't think so. I enjoyed it anyway.
Oh, you enjoyed it, okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, so recommend the Ivy in Leeds.
Yeah, and then we did an Everyman, didn't we?
We did. You can't go wrong with an Everyman.
No, and the old fashions in this particular Everyman is fantastic.
Yeah, they know how to make a drink.
Yeah, Everyman has been consistent at making a great old fashioned, and it's hilarious because an old fashioned comes from America, and America can't make an old fashioned, let alone a cocktail. Um, Good. So it's quite hilarious, really, that you can get a better old fashioned anywhere else but America, especially in a cinema. But there we go.
Yes.
How interesting. Well, I hope you found that 10-minute update interesting.
Yeah.
I always wonder whether these conversations are interesting. I think, oh, God, is this rubbish?
And it will let us
Then
know.
you-
I feel like
yeah.
listeners, if you're listening, like, do you want to hear about our random stuff we get up to? Like,
Yeah.
that. I don't, like, I feel like I'd listen to a podcast that was speaking about restaurants and recommendations and why it was good. And
Yeah, to be fair, for me, I have started to enjoy podcasts that I used to just only listen to podcasts that were all about personal development and trying to break down really complex thoughts. But for me to consume that now, I need to not be doing anything else. I need to focus on what they're saying. So now my enjoyment out of podcasts is comedy, just very easy to understand stories, like catch ups, updates, funny stories, which I can easily put in the background and do something.
yeah,
And I don't have to pay complete attention to still get a laugh out of it.
yeah.
So maybe now I say that maybe basic catch up is what some people want.
Yeah, it's not like we do every episode anyway. So.
No, well there we go. But I want to tell you about some flights and the
Yes.
greatest airport, potentially the greatest airport. I experienced the fastest plane I've ever been on the other day.
As in, like, shortest in duration, or was it actually going faster?
No,
than the other?
well, I guess both and I'll tell you one of the reasons why. It was the first time that I've been on a plane where they did not, and I could probably get some money for this. They did not do the safety talk.
What?
I've never seen that before. They must have just missed it. They got us on. We were set. They were very efficient. We were set to go off, in like 20 minutes, and then they started boarding us. They got everyone on straight on really quickly, shut the doors, closed everything off, and we're in the air bang on time. But I was fully awake and I was fully aware. I didn't have my headphones in. There was no safety talk. It was a KLM flight going to Amsterdam.
I feel like that's so Dutch, though, being like, you all know what you're doing here.
Well, there we
and
go.
if the plane goes down, there's fuck all you can do about it.
Yeah, just, put
feel
your
like
head
that's
between
so
your legs
Dodge.
and kiss your ass, isn't it? Yeah. It's true, isn't it? Because no one listens to it, do they? And it's I do like the airlines who have made like really creative animations on the screens. I think that's a really good idea, or done it in like a really fun, creative way.
New Zealand does Lord of the Rings characters.
Yeah, like that's the best way. Like do that because it's a lot more fun then, especially for kids. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. But it was to Amsterdam from I think Manchester. It very likely been yeah, and it took about 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
But it was insanely quick. Like it was crazy. We must have been going double the speed. Honestly, we went up. I put my headphones in. I wasn't 10 minutes into a podcast till they said we are now getting ready for landing. It's like what? Like I thought I'd be on this flight. It's usually like 45 minutes. It's quite a quick flight.
I've never flown to Amsterdam.
It's a quick flight. It's less than an hour.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't 20 minutes. I don't know if that's possible in these planes, but honestly, it wasn't far off it. It was the fastest plane I've ever been to Amsterdam. I was like, wow. So, efficient plane, but missed the safety talk. What do you think about
that? Well, I do feel like now, but then it's not fair, is it? If one person hasn't been on a plane before, it just seems, I think it seems a little bit excessive. The amount of time spent on, and I'm such a good passenger. I always look and I smile at them and I make sure they know I'm a good passenger that cares about what they're doing. To the point where I'm like, do I keep eye contact the whole way through and make them? But I'm like, is it making them uncomfortable that I'm staring at them during this moment? But Even though I watch it, do you know if you were to ask me now, do I know? Well, you just look around for your nearest exit, don't you? I think that's the main thing. There's a life vest under your seat. Put it on. There's a whistle. There's a light. If the air drops down, put it on yourself before anyone else. Like, I just don't know. Is there a benefit to it?
Yeah, it's definitely better. Well, there will be a portion of people who would have never flown before.
The amount of people that plumbing. Sorry to interrupt you, but just something that enrages me is, you know, when you put your bags in the overhead compartment.
Yeah.
And then someone on the end is like, "Can you shift your stuff because I need to put mine in?"
Oh yeah, get fucked.
The amount of times that's happened to me, I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean? Oh, there's no space for mine. Well, what do you suggest that I do with mine? I was here first.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that dispute with a couple, didn't we, on one of the flights? They just, I guess they just don't fly often. They were just furious we'd put it above their seat. And we happened to be sitting right opposite them. And we're like, it was the only space available. It's how it works.
Yeah.
And they were like proper annoyed with us about it.
Yeah. No, but I don't even think there was a time that they were just in front of us and we were sharing the...
Well, yeah, it's just everyone's space, like, you know, and it gets to a point where sometimes you've got to put your bag all the way at the back because everything's full.
Yeah, like, or sometimes you've got to check it.
Oh, sometimes, yeah, it's just...
They'll take it off you. We've done that plenty of times.
It's just how it works. You can't get your exact spot.
Like, I've never once got to my seat and seen that it was full, and it wouldn't enter my head to be like, whose is this? Shift it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the whole point of the cabin space. Like, we had to... Yeah, that was a bit of an awkward moment when we dealt with it. But it seems like you've dealt with it more times. That was only the one time I've had to deal with that.
I'm sure there was on one of our Pegasus flights, the woman on the end. I don't know if she asked us to move our stuff or...
If it's Pegasus, probably.
Well, it's customer though, isn't it? Another passenger.
But still. Yeah. It's like Ryanair. You get those sorts of people, don't you?
Yeah.
Ryanair and Pegasus. I mean, yeah. There we go. I saw a video the other day of a group that I'll give them a shout out. They're a great YouTube channel, TPD TV. They're a bunch of guys from the Leeds area that go to festivals, and they did like a Benidorm weekender, and they showed like some video clips of the Ryanair flight over to Benidorm, and it was just chaotic. There was literally just someone on the tunnel like, sit down, please, sit down. And there's just a guy, oh, sit down. And then I was like, sit down. And I was like, oh my God. Apparently, they showed it on the video. They're blooming two guys sniffing drugs.
Oh my God.
In their seats. I was like...
How did they get them through?
That's balls he has to take that through. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess there's still ways to get through, but I mean, that's a fucking big risk to take, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just, add that to your night out. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, and to do it, like, surely would you not just
do
get
it on the flight as well?
Upon landing.
Doing a couple of lines on the flight as well. It's pretty wild to even dare to do that. Yeah. Yeah. But, hey, these are the crazy people that go there. I've always sort of considered, like, I've got to experience that, like, proper British sort of Benidorm weekender.
Yeah.
But the more older I've got, I think I've gotten to a point where I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't feel like it really interests me. Like,
No, I wouldn't enjoy it now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy the kind of people, the experience. I wouldn't enjoy the way people talk to each other, the fights, the type of the bars, the entertainment is just all around sex and just weird fucking sex shows. And it's just like, if I was a teenager or a young 20-year-old boy, I'd embrace it and have a right laugh. But now, I don't even want to get drunk anymore. And to go there and have to get drunk in a space that I really don't enjoy, I don't think I could even get a laugh out of it now. I think it'd just be, yeah.
I think it'd be... Well, no, actually, because we went to and I'll edit this out if you don't want it on here, but we went to ping pong club in
We did go to a ping pong club.
or show or whatever it is
Show club, yeah.
in Thailand. It was just a bit depressing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was exciting on the ride there. It was exciting probably for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was just started to decline from there.
Yeah. There's like a group of middle-aged women who were like having their best life, and that was probably the best thing about it.
Yeah, they were on the front row as well.
They were. It was like four women, and they were just like tipping like nothing.
Yeah,
right.
tipping these. I mean, some of them. I mean, some of the things done on that stage were quite impressive.
It's a skill for sure.
Yeah, were quite impressive. But
if you don't know what we're talking about, Google it.
Yeah, if you're over the age of 18.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully all of our listeners are over the age of 18.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I feel like if I was like 18 to like 25, I would have...
You'd have been like, oh my god.
But now, alright, I mean, we did that last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess I'm happy I experienced, but also like, now I've experienced it, I'm like, I didn't need to do it. But I know if I didn't do it, I would have been like, oh, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a strange thing.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe that's what we'd find out about a Benidorm weekender if we went on it, and we'd just be like...
I think it's I think it's that exact thing. I think I just want to do it because it's one of those things that I feel like you got to experience, but I won't enjoy it. And I'll realise actually there was no need to do this.
Yeah.
What about you?
I just don't think because I don't... Because it's just like, who would I go with? Like, because my...
Just like a bunch of girls.
Maybe. Like, where would... I just can't imagine, because none of my friends are, like, big partiers. Well, actually, one is, but, like, I just...
Go your mum.
Yeah.
Your mum and your dad will go with you.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Oh, yeah, I'd absolutely go on a Benidorm weekend with my parents, that'd be great.
Yeah, they would.
Who aren't married, by the way, for the listener.
Yeah, but they love a good boogie.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it... I don't...
No.
If I got invited, maybe I'd go.
Yeah. Well, I just want to touch on... it's a strange segment. Not strange segment. Strange... What's the word?
Format?
Segue. Because I want to make sure we include it as Atlanta Airport. Atlanta Airport. And I can see we only have a couple of minutes to cover this before we need to get into our segments.
Oh, mine's going to be quite short, so that's fine.
There we go. So Atlanta Airport, I just want to give a bit of a nod to Atlanta Airport because, I mean, we've been to a lot of airports now. But wow, this one's pretty impressive. And I wish I had more time there. The two airports I'd like to spend a few hours at is Atlanta Airport and Singapore Airport. And I've had a couple of hours at both now, but I would like a lot more because you get different things in the terminals. But anyway, I think Atlanta Airport is probably going to be the best one. And I'll tell you why.
Do tell me why.
It was just... Number one, the best thing about it was every terminal had a good group of restaurants.
That's very important.
That's very important because it's shit if you're like, I'm in this terminal, but I'd rather get to the area of my gate, so I'm not having to rush or anything. And you get there, and there's just like a corner shop.
Yeah, it's an overpriced packet of crisps and like maybe a pot of hummus if you're lucky.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it had like pizza at the other one, it had pasta. But this one had like a good array of restaurants. I came into one of the terminals and it was like a posh pizza restaurant and there was a piano player. I think I sent you the video.
Yeah.
And it was like a proper big grand piano. I was like, what the fuck? That seems a bit over the top. It had a Chick-fil-A there. It had an ale bar. It had a Fat Tuesdays there,
No
which
way.
I was blown away by, which is like a really popular big sort of, how do you explain it? They make big
Slushies, like alcoholic slushies.
Yeah, like alcoholic slushies you'd get on like the strip in like Mexico or something, like Cancun.
Yeah.
And then the tram is awesome between. So there's 5 terminals. They're A, B, C, D, E, F. E. No.
There's 5. Did you say 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the tram, the voiceover is brilliant because one, it has a visual screen as well, so it tells you all the restaurants and bars and amenities at every terminal as you come to it, so you can already see what is going to be there, and it just talks to you in a really comedic way. So if you're coming up to Terminal C, it'll go Terminal C for Charlie, and then it'll say it again once you get there, which tends to be like a comedic thing, like Terminal C for chocolate. I love chocolate. It's quite comedic, and it's got like all this. It's very easy to understand. Like even the seated area on the tram, for the priority seating area, for people disabled, old, pregnant. When you sit down, it triggers a voice that says "old people alert." It literally goes "old people alert."
Funny.
I think it's like a comedy thing. And the guy was laughing when he sat down with his wife. When everyone sat down, they went, "Old people alert." And it was just, like, they added just so many little things you wouldn't think of that were comedy, but also informative. And just the general vibe was really positive. Like, the vibe felt good there.
Can I ask you, have you ever actually been to Atlanta, like visited the city?
No, this is the first time I've flown through Atlanta.
So I wonder if that's indicative of what like Atlanta itself will be like. If it's like, because I've heard that it's a cool place. Like, I wonder if it is like a fun, like the fact that they've got that airport there. Maybe it's a cool place to visit.
Well, if it is, then yeah, I'd love to check it out. But it's the first time I flew for it. And I've found out since it's the world's busiest airport by passenger traffic, connecting over 200 destinations.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty insane. It apparently has art exhibits in and everything else, but even has a chapel in there.
That's cool.
Oh, I think I took a photo of a pet zone as well, where you can take like your animals as well. So it's just I was very impressed.
Very nice.
So if you can fly through Atlanta Airport or Singapore Airport, highly recommend.
Yeah, they are both great airports. So I have flown through Atlanta Airport, and actually, just briefly, while I was studying in Albuquerque, New Mexico, my mom came to visit me, and I knew that she was going to be flying through Atlanta, and I knew what Atlanta Airport was like. I was really worried about it, because I was like, she's going to see that piano bar, she's going to get a couple of wines down her and miss a connection. And I'm sat talking to her in Albuquerque Airport, like, before she went through and everything. We sat just having a coffee, and I'm saying to her, look, you're going to come into this terminal, you need to get on the tram, and it's going to take you to this terminal. And we're talking, she's like, I'll be fine. Next minute, a man shows up, excuse me, ma'am, is this your passport? She'd only dropped a passport.
Oh my God.
She's like, I'll be okay. I was like,
Dropped
can't even get
passport.
Just near us, like it was on the floor near the table, but I was like, oh my days.
Oh my God.
I was like, you need to contact. In fact, I think it was pre-WhatsApp days, so I don't even know if she'd have been able to contact me. I think I'll have just been like panicking.
Well, that is the last thing you'd want to lose.
I know, and like, so just imagine me sending her off to Atlanta Airport. So, but she made it back. She says still a tell.
Thank God, because it's to expedite your passport. It can take like a week.
Yeah.
So from the embassy, so she could have just been stuck in Atlanta for a week.
I mean, there's worse places. If you had to be stuck in any airport for a week, it'd be Atlanta Airport. Would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be probably the best one. So that's pretty wild. There we go. Hopefully that was interesting. Let us know.
Yeah.
Because if these things aren't interesting, then just tell us, and then
we've got many a thing we could talk about.
We've got lots, and we're just trying to split them up. Like next episode, especially, we're going to get into some pretty strange stories. But I'm going to jump into my segment.
Wonderful.
Which jingle is incoming? What the fuck?
There we go.
There we go. What the fuck? There we go. Every week the world gets a little weirder. Let's talk about the strangest thing that went down this week. AI.
AI.
Shelby loves AI. and also, this brings your two loves together, baby. AI and Australia.
Half of that is correct.
The listeners can guess which half. But yeah, an Australian station, CADA, CADA, basically have been using an AI-generated radio host for 6 months.
Wow.
And no one knew.
That's wild.
No, none of the listeners, of course, knew. Obviously, the host knew, but none of the listeners knew. And, you know, it was a well listened to segment. It was every Monday to Friday for 4 hours a day.
What?
Yeah, 4 hours a day, Monday to Friday. Wasn't noticed for 6 months. The only really reason they noticed it was one, there was no last name because they gave the AI name.
Yeah.
And I think, let me just get the name. I think it was just called Thigh. THY, which is already a suspect name. So they had like no last name, no bio, and also they could find like no social media, which they could have easily built all this for it. And then also apparently listeners started to notice like the same phrases being used quite often. So anyway, all this came to a head where April 30th, 2025, very recently, wow, they basically had to come out and say, yeah, it's an AI voice, because the listeners were freaking out and getting annoyed about it. And whilst there are no current laws restricting, you know, radio stations from using AI-generated content during their podcasts in Australia, but, you know, the listeners are furious with it, apparently. And they're just saying that you should have let us know and say it was a bit deceiving and they don't like it and etc. etc. But there's no rule against it. And since the network has put out a statement admitting they were testing AI and also reassuring everyone that it didn't plan to replace any human hosts anytime soon.
Define soon.
Well, there we go. So it's interesting that, you know, because if it went for 6 months and then they only had to bring out that statement because listeners kicked off, I mean, for me it sounded like they'd probably gone indefinitely with that particular segment, probably.
Yeah, but 4 hours a day, that's a significant cost saving if you're not...
Yeah.
Although I don't know what the cost would be involved in generating 4 hours of content daily, but
Yeah,
presumably less than paying a human.
Yeah.
See, like, I don't understand why there isn't a law against disclosing it, because, like, you know, when we upload things to, like, our shorts and stuff, like, it asks you, doesn't it? Is any of this content AI, as in, like, could be assumed to be real, but is actually AI generated?
Yeah, I think as a basic, I have nothing against them using AI, but I think as a basic rule in every element where AI is used, just like animal testing is used on products, we just need to have a line that states it.
Yeah, like now, like product placement or like ad on Instagram. You know when influencers say, "Oh, I've just got this new shampoo; it's really great." If they're being paid to say that, they have to write the word ad in their content somewhere. So, like, I think that should be.
It should just be a basic rule.
Yeah.
Use it, whatever. But it just has to be clearly not hidden away in some terms, like clearly on the social post, on the movie credits, preferably before the start of the film would be best. But I mean, what people will inevitably do will just stuff it somewhere where it's not going to be seen. But yeah, it absolutely should be, you know, clearly stated.
Yeah.
And then, that's the way I'd approach it. I wouldn't stop it from being used.
No, totally. But it's just like now, every single video I see of Donald Trump, I'm like, AI or real? Because like
it's scarily, yeah.
But like, yeah, the images can be so super realistic. So yeah.
Well, I actually did because we were talking about AI with the customer advisory board in my company that I run, and to get them thinking about the impact of AI right now, I just did a couple of icebreaker slides at the start where I got some AI generated imagery of specific locations. So one was of a warehouse and then the other one was of a port. And it was just a blend of AI generated images and real images. The first one had one real image. The The second one had no real images.
Oh.
And everyone got it wrong both times. So I think one person might have got the first one right. But yeah, the second one no one got right. They were all AI generated. Like, that one's definitely real. It was all. I was even shocked by some of them. So it just goes to show it's getting scarily accurate.
Well, I've even noticed. So I've just bought a desk, which I've put up today, by the way, all by myself.
Well done.
Thank you. But I noticed that a lot of the images of desks were AI generated. So they'd show, like, there were some real images, but then you click through them, they have them set up somewhere. But it's very clearly AI because, like, the laptop isn't real and, like, like the...
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just become... It needs to be... I think sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's really not. So, like you say, I think we just need that disclaimer. Well, that's a wonderful what the WTF of the week. Would you like to hear about Shelby's Good Vibes Only?
Yeah.
This week. Wonderful. Well, Shelby doesn't know her. Still doesn't know the intro to her. Let's take a break from the madness and listen to some positive news. It's something along those lines.
All right. Well, I can't even find it for you. There we go.
There we go. Let's take a break from the chaos. Here's something to make you smile this week. I was nearly there.
Yeah, you were nearly there.
So, this week, or last weekend rather, it was the London Marathon.
Yes.
Scott actually ran not the London Marathon.
Yeah, which is a real marathon
up
north, yeah.
I think it even says, like, nearly London Marathon on your...
Yeah, it does. It does, yeah.
Medal, which is a really cool medal. It's one of my favourite ones that you've got.
Yeah, it's quite comedic.
But there was a man called Darren Owl, or AWOL, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He was shot in an, like, freak attack again. It was, indiscriminate, like, it was just... He got shot, but, they don't think that he was an intended target or anything like that. I don't really know the ins and outs of that bit, but what I do know is he was told that he would never walk again. And he's wheelchair bound. He battled depression throughout his recovery, and he decided that he wasn't going to let it beat him, and he signed up for the London Marathon. And through physio, through going to the gym, like, he's managed to regain some of his strength in his lower body. And while he wasn't able to do the entire marathon on foot, he did the start and the end on foot and on crutches, and then he did the wheelchair for the rest of the way, which I just think is so inspiring. Like, to go from the worst moment of your life, being shot, being told that you'll never walk again, to actually participating in and completing the London Marathon, that's just wonderful and really inspirational.
That is very inspirational.
So well done, Darren. Very proud to hear of such a nice story. Very proud of you, man.
This was American.
No, he's British.
He got shot. Wait, where did he get shot?
In London.
Oh my
I mean,
god!
you could have probably guessed
But
that.
shot in London.
Yeah, he was. Oh
my
god! I think he was owned a post office. So I don't
Oh,
know if it was
did they
in
try to
work
rob
or...
the post office?
I see. I probably should have figured out why he got shot, but it said something
They're
like it
probably
was.
trying to rob the post office.
I don't think it said that. Like, I think it just said he got caught up in a shooting or something. Like.
Wow. Why do we always rob post offices?
Because they're hiding lots of money.
No.
It's not true. That is not true. That is fake news.
Not true. That is
It's
fake,
a very
yeah.
bad joke.
But it's always post offices that always get it, don't
But they do have lots of money in there.
Yeah, they do have quite a bit of cash. Yeah. Well, I guess it just shows you the determination of people. I think it really, people who say they're down and out because of an accident or a medical issue that they faced. I mean, you hear it. I can't even count on my fingers and toes how many times I've heard it in a documentary or a film where they said, oh, they gave me 3 months to live. They said I'd never walk again. They said I'd never do this again. And by the end of it, they're doing it 10x. So it just shows you, I think a lot of the time that response from the doctor, it is a response on the average person.
Yeah.
By average standards, you won't. But if you're super determined and you're super passionate about getting back to whatever it is, and you're willing to do anything, well then, I think in most cases, that can take you much further than anyone could have ever thought.
Absolutely. I think it's mindset is a huge thing. Like, there's so many people that will get, a terminal diagnosis, and then they were fine before. Like, well, no, asymptomatic, but as soon as they know that they've got it, then like literally straight away the symptoms kick in, because it's like your mind knows that you're ill then.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so
That's
well done,
scary.
Darren.
Well done, Darren. Go Dazza. Another adventure wrapped up.
But the journey never ends.
Keep your bags packed for the next one, and remember, when in doubt, just say,
Yalla
Yalla Habibi.
Habibi.
See you next time.